Hi, I'm Dr. Chad Larson. If you've been following along, this is the sixth episode in a series that I've done on grit. And so, again, just a quick sort of overarching concept of why I'm doing this is I think sort of post-pandemic, I think a lot of people are going to want to be getting their lives back. And, I'm looking at things through kind of the healthcare lens, and I think a lot of people's health has generally declined, kind of even aside from the kind of viral situation. I think a lot of people, maybe because of the pandemic policies, have fallen into maybe some bad health habits. I've heard from lots of people that their diets are not what they used to be. They're not exercising the way they want to. So a lot of people have probably started some New Year's resolutions, and here's what it is. It's difficult to stick with those things oftentimes. And so I want to discuss grit and kind of the science behind grit and how it matters, how to do it. It's a skill that can definitely be trained over time. And so this is the sixth out of six episodes on grit that I'm talking about. So the very first one was about the grit to persevere. It is all about sort of physical perseverance, which will help to improve even your mental perseverance. And then we talked about the grit to control your thoughts, because it's difficult to ignore the things that you're trying to ignore and pay attention and focus on the things that you're trying to focus on. And doing hard things, doing something hard, doing something new takes a lot of focus. And there's things that we want to do to help kind of improve that focus. So controlling your thoughts is a good one for that. The third one was the grit to master fear. Fear can be a really great ally when we're working on focus. And we talked about the work of Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, who's a psychologist that talked about flow. Flow, one of the ways to induce flow is to kind of operate at this balance of challenge and skill. When a challenge kind of pushes your ability to keep up with that challenge, that requires a lot of focus, and you get focused for free. And so in this whole concept of doing hard things, focusing on what you want to and ignoring the things that you don't want to takes a certain amount of energy and brain focus. And so using fear as a tool in that regard could be helpful. So listen to that episode if you want to know more about that one. The fourth one was the grit to be your best when you're at your worst, because inevitably motivation is going to run out, you're going to hit a wall, and you want to be able to work on some goals, work on taking some next steps, even when you're not feeling great. And so that leads into the fifth one, which was the grit to train your weaknesses, because we all have them, and there are weaknesses for a reason. Each of us kind of has a different weakness. So I talked about some ways that the researchers suggest to train your weaknesses. And then the sixth one is very important, just as important as all the other grit skills, which is the grit to recover. So this is the sixth and final in this series, and it's just as important as the rest, because doing hard things is, hard. And it can take a certain amount of energy and drive and focus to keep up with those tasks. All these grit skills would certainly help to build the skills and kind of build the energy, build the neurological focus to be able to do that. But you must recover. You must do active recovery practices. And what I mean by recover, what the science clearly suggests is to not veg out and scroll through Facebook and mindlessly watch a movie or binge on some kind of show or something. That kind of passive recovery is not what they're talking about. They suggest that is actually not helpful for this kind of recovery that we're talking about. We want more active recovery. Active recovery can be going and getting a massage, doing a walking meditation, doing a soak in your hot tub. Maybe you can even stack these practices, and you can do a meditation session or a mindfulness meditation, maybe kind of like we talked about in the second grit skill to control your thoughts. We talked about mindfulness, and there's some very easy ways that you can incorporate that. So maybe you stack them in this recovery process, and you can start to stack up these grit skills as well. So maybe you're doing a hot tub or you're doing a sauna session and you're doing a mindfulness kind of meditation. Maybe doing some kind of hobby that is both relaxing but engaging. That can be an active recovery process. So not the passive type, not the passive kind of recovery where you just mind-numbing doing something. That's been shown to actually not be the kind of recovery that we're talking about. It's a sort of active recovery process. So those are some ideas for how to incorporate those. Another key one in the whole sort of grit to recover is, and we've talked about it throughout this series, is sleep. Sleep is maybe the most important recovery practice. If you're trying to do hard things, if you're trying to do, like I said, maybe you have a New Year's resolutions, or maybe, during this period of time in the past 24 months, maybe you've come up with a cool business opportunity or some kind of something that you're trying to incorporate in your life that is kind of difficult and takes time, takes focus, takes brain energy. Really making sure that you're making sleep a priority can be a major determining factor, frankly, between whether you are successful with it or not successful with it. It's frankly just how important sleep is. There's nothing else that we can do in these recovery practices, even the ones that I just mentioned, that can do anything close to what sleep does for recovery, for your brain, for the sort of energetic mitochondrial system of your neurons to keep showing up and keep doing their work. So I can't overemphasize the importance of sleep. And from an active recovery process, that's probably number one. But all these other things that we talked about, like doing a soak in a hot tub, or doing a sauna, or getting a meditation, or doing a walking meditation, or engaging in some kind of hobby that's both relaxing and engaging. So choose from this list, maybe mix it up, try different things. You can stack them together and combine them, but the grit to recover is super, super key. So hopefully that helps you to keep going on your quest of doing these hard things. I'll keep reading the studies and bringing you the information. Until then, keep it real.